Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, Blue Cross buyouts. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center with what the company hopes to accomplish with the move.
The tropics are watching Imelda move on out and the remnants of Umberto. We'll talk about what's next for us here coming up.
And suppressing free speech or encouraging political violence. We are live on UNC's campus where demonstrators are standing behind a professor placed on leave. We are covering all these major stories for you this noon hour. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey, and we begin with that breaking news. Blue Cross Blue Shield North Carolina laying off numerous employees after falling short of the 2025 financial plan. This comes just days after layoffs were announced at Rocky Mount and Novo Nordisk. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center with a look at what led to all of this. Ken.
Michelle, the state's largest health insurer making that announcement this morning. Now, the employees in question, we've learned, will be offered some voluntary separation packages. A company spokesperson telling WRAL the rising cost of health care, as well as market volatility and other factors, continue to place on strain on the entire healthcare system, and Blue Cross Blue Shield is not immune. Blue Cross North Carolina did not put out any numbers indicating how much the company fell short of that 2025 financial plan. Company executives maintain Blue Cross North Carolina is strong, and the proposed layoffs are to ensure the long-term sustainability of the company. If we get any new developments in the story, we'll report it here in the WRAL Live Center.
Ken, thank you. Today in Chapel Hill, students plan to demonstrate in support of a professor on administrative leave. The university announced it is investigating whether he was involved in a group promoting political violence. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is there. And Sean, it appears Professor Dwayne Dixon does have a lot of support to remain teaching there at UNC.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a petition circulating online of students advocating for him to keep his job. At last check, it was closing in on 700 signatures. But in just about a half hour, that support is going to go from the internet into real life as students are planning to meet here at the South Building for a rally around 12:30 again to support Professor Dwayne Dixon. Now, UNC announced he was on administrative leave earlier this week as it investigates any possible involvement Dixon had with advocating for political violence. Dixon is a professor of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies here at UNC, and several websites have tied him to a now defunct far-left anti-fascist group called Redneck Revolt. It's a group that promoted militant resistance, including practicing armed community defense in states where it was legal. A spokesperson for Turning Point USA, founded by the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, first called out Dixon because of a flyer they found on Georgetown University's campus in D.C. that had affiliations with Redneck Revolt. Now, Dixon put out a statement saying in part that the action taken against him goes beyond a single person and that this is an issue that affects all of us. Now, Dixon was in the headlines multiple times over the last 5 to 10 years. In 2017 for an incident and 2018 for another incident at a protest. But all of the charges that he faced from those incidents were dropped or dismissed. So he has never faced any legal issues because of that. Now, coming up in about a half hour, we'll bring you right back here to UNC's campus when the rally is set to begin. But for now in Chapel Hill, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
All right, Sean, we'll check in with you in our next half hour. Thank you.
Well, the sun is breaking out across the area this afternoon, making for nice conditions to be outside after a couple of days of rain. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio with a look at a big change in our morning temperatures starting tomorrow, Elizabeth.
It feels really comfortable out here on the patio right now. Of course, we're still tracking both of these tropical systems. We have Imelda down at the bottom of the screen, and Umberto has just turned into remnants at this point, which is definitely good news. We could still have some impacts along the Outer Banks from Imelda, which we'll talk more about coming up. Let's take a look here around Raleigh, and you can see downtown a good bit of cloud cover. There are a few holes in the clouds here and there. As a matter of fact, we'll take a look at our high-resolution satellite, and you can see around Sanford and Fayetteville, lots of sunshine there. And even in our far northeastern counties, these clouds will likely continue to break up. But right here in the triangle, we are seeing a good bit of cloud cover right now. As we get through the afternoon, for now, we're looking at about 60 to 70% of the sky covered with clouds, on average. And then by the time we get to 5 or 6 o'clock, it's about 45 to 50%. So we should see increasing sunshine as we get through the afternoon. It's a little breezy out here on the patio. Our winds are coming out of the northeast right now. The gusts are in the box on the right, so gusting to 30 right now. In Fayetteville, 20 25 in Rocky Mount, 24 in Goldsboro, 16 in South Hill. So a little bit breezy out here for us, and we'll continue to see our winds gusting around 20 to 25 as we head through the afternoon. Our dew point has dropped nicely. It's sitting in the 50s right now, so it's very comfortable. Temperatures will climb into the upper 70s for this afternoon. But temperatures for tonight will drop below normal. That means as you head out the door tomorrow morning, you might want your jacket. And so we'll talk about how cool it will be where you are coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. New at noon, the man accused of murdering a woman in Wake Forest will appear before a judge in about an hour. Police believe the shooting is a result of a domestic dispute. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside the Wake County Justice Center. And Carly, you'll be in that courtroom.
Yes, it all kicks off in just about 1:30. Right now, the suspect is in jail under no bond. Harrison Jose Urena Morales is facing a murder charge. He's accused of shooting Josefina Tavares. Police found her with a single gunshot wound yesterday in a neighborhood by Mill Dam Road. She was taken to the hospital where she died. According to Wake Forest police, like you said, this involved a domestic dispute, but we're still trying to nail down the exact nature of their relationship. We're going to tell you what comes out of this courtroom later today. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The man accused of carrying out the mass shooting in Southport could face the death penalty if convicted. The prosecutor made that announcement today. 3 people were killed in that shooting. 5 others were injured. Former U.S. Marine Nigel Edge faces murder charges in that coastal shooting.
Now in the WRAL Live Center, Fed Governor Lisa Cook will remain on the Federal Reserve Board for now. Just before we came on the air, we got word that the U.S. Supreme Court declined to rule on whether President Trump could immediately fire Cook. Instead, the justices plan to hear oral arguments in the case in January, with the ruling likely coming next summer, somewhere around the June timeframe. Now, under the Federal Reserve Act, presidents cannot remove governors unless there's evidence of wrongdoing. Trump had said he wanted Cook fired over allegations of mortgage fraud, but Cook denies those claims, and she has never been charged with any crime. We'll continue to monitor this story here in the WRAL Live Center for any new developments.
President Trump and Republicans on the Hill are locked in a fierce blame game with Democratic leaders following the government shutdown. More than 2 million federal workers will go without pay, and the president has threatened mass layoffs as well. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
The nation now plunged into a government shutdown. Leaders of the 2 parties are in their corners, showing no signs of negotiating.
They have taken the American people hostage in a way that they think benefits them politically.
They're afraid of the truth. They know that what they've done to health care has decimated health care.
Last-ditch stopgap funding votes failing in the Senate, with Democrats holding out to restore health care cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies.
Premiums and copays and deductibles are about to skyrocket, bankrupting many Americans.
Republicans argue those discussions can wait, voicing pessimism about the current standstill.
There literally is nothing to negotiate. They're bringing in extraneous issues that don't have anything to do at all with keeping the government open.
Despite the shutdown, Social Security, Medicare, and VA benefits will continue along with student loans. But national parks could close, and roughly 750,000 federal workers could be furloughed. Many more, including TSA agents, required to work without pay until the shutdown ends.
We're looking for bombs, weapons, stuff like that, and you can't miss, right? So you don't want officers with added stress of how am I going to pay my bills?
President Trump raising the stakes, reiterating his threat of mass layoffs while blaming Democrats.
Cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
Democrats adamant those cuts are already happening, pushing for leverage now.
They've got to sit down and negotiate with Democrats.
As the nation waits for what's next. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Once again, Carolina has called Eric Church home. The popular country musician will give the commencement address at UNC's graduation this spring. Church is a big Tar Heel fan. He was sitting next to Michael Jordan at Bill Belichick's first game this year. He also canceled a show in 2022 so he could watch the first time the UNC men's basketball team faced Duke in the Final Four. Church has been at the forefront of Hurricane Helene relief efforts over the past year. He's committed to rebuilding homes in Avery County, where he grew up.
Well, there's no time like fair time in North Carolina, and this year's menu includes nearly 100 new items. This could be the year you discover your new favorite food. Here's a look at a few of the delicacies on the menu: the hot Cheeto pickle pizza, the barbecue donut, and frozen fried watermelon. I'd really like to know how they do that. You can get your tickets for the fair today. The state fair runs from October 16th and October 26th.
Next at noon, a prominent investment banker charged with sex trafficking. The charges Howard Rubin and his assistant could face if convicted.
Also, 6 more homes on the Outer Banks gone. High surf knocking them out. What residents there say needs to be done to prevent this from happening again in the future.
Plus, UNC students and faculty are rallying this afternoon in support of a professor. We will take you there live.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Women forced into submission and sadomasochism in what prosecutors are calling a sex dungeon. This is all in a 13-page federal indictment that says retired New York City financier Howard Rubin sexually and physically assaulted women for a decade. Investigators say women were tied up, drugged, and beaten from 2009 through 2019. Rubin's personal assistant, Jennifer Powers, is also accused of arranging the women. Prosecutors say Rubin and Powers shared graphic details of his sexual encounters over email. Powers is due in court today.
Resembles very much the situation of Epstein having an assistant who works for him, helping him to prey on the women and to set up this organized way of doing it.
Rubin faces 10 federal criminal counts, including sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, and bank fraud. He and his assistant face the possibility of life in prison if convicted.
Today marks 8 years since the Las Vegas mass shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. 58 people were killed and 850 were injured in that Las Vegas Strip shooting. Local organizers are working on a memorial they hope will open in time for the 10th anniversary. The Forever One Memorial is designed to have 58 illuminated butterflies representing the lives lost. 22 vertical stakes will represent an estimated 22,000 survivors. These structures' lighting and form are intended to reflect both remembrance and unity.
We all wish it would have never happened, but it did. And we took the worst of that and turned it into something beautiful and resilient. And we owe it to all the people that were there and our community to build something that portrays that.
The Vegas Strong Fund is leading the fundraising to have $45 million by October 1st of 2027.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, New York authorities this morning are trying to figure out what caused a high-rise building to partially collapse this morning. This is video of the scene right now that from earlier today. You can see that whole section just gave way earlier this morning. Right now, authorities say a possible gas explosion may have caused the incinerator shaft to collapse at this 20-story building. So far, no injuries are reported. It does not appear that any of the apartment units were affected. The building, of course, and other nearby units were evacuated just as a precaution.
Ken, thank you. Take a look at your screens right now. Going, and then gone. High surf in Buxton swallowed 5 homes in 45 minutes yesterday, and WRAL has just learned a 6th one fell last night.
House number 5. 1, 2.
And And there was also another one. Buxton resident Brian Harris sent us this video. He says he's worried that things will only get worse over the next few weeks and months. People who live there now believe that this was a storm that will reshape the town forever. This now means 18 homes on the Outer Banks have collapsed into the ocean within the last 5 years. 18. Residents say this could have been prevented.
It just wiped out 40 years of the oceanfront.
This is the time something's got to be done. I mean, they can't keep kicking this can down the road.
Dare County confirmed tons of new sand will be brought in sometime next year, replacing some of the losses from Imelda, Umberto, Hurricane Erin, and other storms.
It's October, and in North Carolina, that means the leaves will be changing. WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels looks into the 3 key factors driving foliage transformation and when we could see that peak color.
We'll take you back to elementary school when we first learned that big word, photosynthesis, the exchange of energy between the sun and plants. And so when we lose sunlight, naturally the green color, the chlorophyll that makes that green color, well, that production slows down.
More than a third of Americans used paid time off just to catch up on sleep. 38% of respondents also say they'd be interested in taking a vacation designed to improve sleep. Millennials rank the highest as the generation most likely to take PTO to get more rest at 30%. Surveys also show people are becoming more interested in improving their quality of rest. Online searches on how to take a sleep vacation jumped more than 30% in the last 2 years. Today, we are asking, have you used PTO just to catch up on sleep? Share your voice right now by scanning the QR code on your screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice. We will share the results before the end of this newscast.
PayPal and Venmo users will soon be able to pay each other via phone or email. Starting next month, PayPal users will be able to find and pay people on Venmo using their phone numbers and vice versa, with email addresses to be added as an option later. Previously, customers had to use a complicated workaround to transfer money between the two services. And Peloton is unveiling 5 new products, including a less expensive base model and advanced versions of its bike and treadmill. All of these items have improved Wi-Fi connectivity and upgraded speakers. The bikes also have an improved seat for comfort. Peloton's Plus versions of its rowing machines, treadmills, and bikes also have a feature called Peloton IQ. That's an artificial intelligence assisted feature that serves as a personal trainer, giving feedback to the user.
Reinstate Dixon. That's what the sign reads on the steps of the South Building on UNC's campus. We are live where a rally in support of a professor who's on administrative leave, where a rally in support of that is scheduled to begin shortly.
And a deadly shooting. Police in Durham now know the name of the man who was shot to death early this morning. The search to find the shooter continues. And here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news this half hour. Sky 5 is live over UNC Chapel Hill, where students and faculty are gathering for a rally.
Yeah, it's scheduled to begin in just a few minutes at 12:30 at the South Building. The group is standing in solidarity with Professor Dwayne Dixon. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live there on campus with what sparked this. Sean.
Yeah, you can see the group behind me is slowly assembling here for the rally that is scheduled to start at 12:30. And you can see that sign right here on the steps of the South Building for them to reinstate Dr. Dixon after he was placed on administrative leave while the university is investigating whether he had any participation in promoting political violence. Now, he has gotten a lot of support already. There's an online signature with over 600, or online petition with over 600 signatures, and and this rally likely will have even dozens more that are here in support. Now, UNC announced he was on administrative leave as it investigates any possible involvement Dixon had with advocating for political violence. Dixon is a professor of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies here at UNC. Several websites have tied him to a now defunct far-left anti-fascist group called Redneck Revolt. It's a group that promoted militant resistance, including practicing armed community defense in states where it's legal. But a spokesperson for Turning Point USA, founded by the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, first called out Dixon because of a flyer they found on Georgetown University's campus in Washington, D.C. with affiliations to Redneck Revolt. Now, Dixon did put out a statement saying in part that the action taken against him goes beyond a single person and that this is an issue that affects all of us. And as you can see, they are getting together. We just heard an announcement that probably going to start a little bit late. They say about 10 minutes, but we will bring you updates later this afternoon about what everyone is here for, why they're supporting Dr. Dixon right now, and we'll have that in our evening newscast. But for now, in Chapel Hill, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Durham police have identified the person who was shot dead on Lathrop Street. Video from the breaking news tracker shows the scene this morning. Police say Tykean Holloway was shot and killed around midnight. Witnesses tell us they heard multiple gunshots.
I'm like, gunshots, fireworks. I'm like, nah, these ain't no fireworks here. And so I lean back as far as possible. Thankfully, I wasn't in the crossfire, but they're like right next to my car.
We are working to find out what led to that shooting.
A city councilman in Palm Bay, Florida, is facing backlash after he attacked Indian Americans on social media. Now, several leaders are calling for the councilman to step down. On September 26th, a post on Chandler Langvin's X page said, "Deport every Indian immediately," in response to a Homeland Security post about a crash involving an immigrant who is here illegally. And it's not the first time his posts have landed him in hot water. Back in February, the councilman wrote a lengthy post saying Islam is neither peaceful nor strictly a religion, calling it a political ideology.
My first preference would be for the councilman to, step down on his own terms. But if not, then the only way would be for a recall, which is not realistic, or for the governor to remove him himself.
The posts, which are still online, prompted the mayor of Palm Bay to send his letter to residents, which reads in part, "While each person is entitled to their own views, we must be clear. Words that demean or devalue others have no place in Palm Bay."
Cuts to North Carolina's Medicaid program are taking effect today after the deadline for a new state budget came and went. Governor Stein says the lack of a budget leaves the program millions of dollars short. State lawmakers debated two plans to boost Medicaid funding last week, but nothing was approved. The state has warned hospitals and doctors the funding cuts could now be passed on to them. Scammers will do anything to try and get your money, and law enforcement in our area wants you to be aware. The Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office warned residents about people impersonating their deputies. Residents are getting phone calls asking for payment through Cash App. That should be your first red flag. The calls are coming from the number on your screen. Keep in mind, your local sheriff's office will never ask for money through Cash App.
Starting next year, police in California will be able to cite autonomous vehicle companies for traffic violations. An officer in San Bruno, California, pulled over a Waymo autonomous vehicle for making an illegal U-turn. The car pulled over and connected police to an employee using its communication system. But police had no way of citing anyone since there was technically no driver. Officers say they hope the stop will result in a reprogramming for these vehicles.
It's the first day of October. Now let that sink in. Today marks the start of Sober October, the global challenge to give up alcohol, drugs, or stay sober for the entire month. Sober October is not only good for your health, but several organizations raise money for causes like cancer support. Participants can experience benefits such as better sleep, clearer skin, and financial savings. Sober October also helps people identify and manage their triggers and reevaluate their relationship with alcohol.
An early start to med school, how a teacher turned her classroom into a learning hospital for her first graders.
And longer, healthier lives. We'll preview the upcoming Triangle Heart Walk and its mission to reduce cardiovascular disease and help people survive a heart attack. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Our Teacher of the Week is a 30-year classroom veteran with no plans to retire anytime soon. WRAL's Ken Smith introduces us to a third-grade teacher who was inspired to follow in the footsteps of her own third-grade teacher.
A trick would be to look for two R's, like where are two R's together?
Karen DiGiacomo is a third-grade teacher at Middle Creek Elementary School in Wake County.
We just started reading about that.
DiGiacomo says teaching third grade is perfect for her because when she was the same age as her current students, she says she had the best third-grade teacher ever.
She was just so positive and made me feel so good about myself, even if I made a mistake. If I didn't understand something, she was there for me. She just was a support, and I loved it. And I thought, I want to do that for kids.
And she's been doing that for generations of students for 30 years, 15 of which here at Middle Creek.
Just seeing them smile, sending them home, feeling good about themselves, and learning something new that they're excited about, it's wonderful.
That caring and nurturing spirit.
Yeah, work together. That sounds perfect.
Ensures DiGiacomo's lasting impression on her third-grade students.
Even watching them grow up and go to fourth grade, go to fifth grade, go to middle school, and hearing them talk about what they've learned, what they're using that I taught them to learn the next grade level, it's just the best.
Ms. DiGiacomo, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week.
Oh my God!
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And your entire fan club is here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and her family came too. You can tell she was really surprised. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
That is amazing. All right, well, when it comes to learning about their bodies, a group of first graders is getting a real-life experience. A teacher in Tennessee has modeled her classroom after a hospital. The students enjoy soaking up knowledge about their heart, skeletal, and nervous systems, and local healthcare professionals have gotten in on the act as well. Doctors, nurses, and EMS workers have volunteered their time to help in the class.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're getting our first look at the Obama Presidential Center, now under construction. Take a look at it. These are renderings of what the Presidential Library will look like. Our NBC station there in Chicago got an up-close look at what's going on there on those grounds. This is being built in Chicago's Jackson Park neighborhood. The Obama Presidential Center is supposed to be completed by next spring.
The beat goes on, how learning hands-only CPR could save lives and how you can raise funds to make that happen.
Plus, pirate's booty. A salvage crew hits the jackpot. How much these 300-year-old coins are worth in today's market.
9 out of 10 people who suffer cardiac arrest outside the hospital die. In most of those cases, a bystander did not perform CPR, but the American Heart Association wants to change those statistics. And I am proud to serve as the MC for the 2025 Triangle Heart Walk on Saturday, October 11th. WRAL is a proud media sponsor. And joining us this afternoon to highlight the benefits of staying active is Mike McGann. Mike, thank you so much for being here. So talk to us a little bit about this event on October 11th, what people can expect.
Sure. So the Triangle Heart Walk is on October 11th at Coastal Carolina Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. It's a mouthful. But it's to further the purpose of the American Heart Association to raise life-saving funds that fund research, improve hospital care, and really create an environment for stronger and healthier heart health.
Yeah, the American Heart Association focused on building a nation of lifesavers by hands-only CPR. Talk to me about hands-only CPR.
Sure. It's 2 simple steps for hands-only CPR. Call 911 and start chest compressions. So a lot of the research suggests, and as you said, 9 out of 10 people that suffer cardiac arrest outside of the hospital die. And so the initiative of the American Heart Association's Nation of Lifesavers is to turn bystanders into lifesavers and to be able to train more people. So we'll have really great events. We'll have a booth at the Heart Walk where people can learn hands-only CPR. There'll be a kids zone, and there will be a 1 and 3 mile loop that people can walk to help encourage heart health.
That's amazing. And this is for everybody, right? Kids, adults, everybody can.
You can bring your
join.
pets, if you'd like. Yes, everybody is welcome.
I love that so much. This is amazing. And what else do you want people to know about this walk? Why is it so important?
Well, I think, the walk promotes heart health, but also the funds go a long, long way to helping the American Heart Association fund their research. And so I encourage you to go to the website, www.triangleheartwalk.org, and you can get all the information about the walk that starts at 8:45, it opens at 7:30, but really consider a donation to help support heart health.
Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Once again, the 2025 Triangle Heart Walk takes place Saturday, October 11th at Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek in Raleigh. The event opens at 7:30. The Heart Walk begins at 8:45. I will be there. It is going to be a fantastic event. Mike McGann, thank you so much, and I look forward to next weekend.
Thank you.
We certainly hope there will be nice fall weather for that annual Heart Walk. Thanks so much for all that they're doing in the community. Let's get out to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who's out on the weather patio. Still a lot of clouds out there, but we see the sunshine peeking through, and I bet it feels nice.
It does. It's really comfortable out here right now. And that's the reason we see so many events in September and October, because traditionally we have comfortable weather. Now, September can have some hot periods and we can see tropical systems. But overall, when you compare it to some other times of the year, statistically, it's a decent bet. We take a look at Durham and you can see some angry looking clouds there. I'm looking up and I can see some high thin clouds here. Sun's trying to peek through. And even though you may see some fairly dense clouds there in Durham, we'll likely see a lot of that breaking up as we get through the next several hours. So as we head through the evening, starting at around 5 or 6 o'clock, we're looking at about half of the sky covered with clouds, and we'll continue to see the clearing overnight. It is still breezy, of course. We're still seeing winds gusting to 30 miles per hour in Fayetteville. The wind gusts are in the white box on the right, and the steady winds are on the left. So we're gusting to 23 in Clinton and 25 in Rocky Mounts. Pretty breezy out here right now, and we'll continue to have some gusty winds this afternoon. At least up to around 20. We are actually seeing some winds gusting at 25 and even 30 miles per hour. So that's what we'll see around here. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow and a chilly start to the day. On the coast, Hurricane Melda is still affecting the coastline, but not as much as it was yesterday. We had one more house around the Buxton area fall into the ocean today, but the high surf continues. The chance.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Right now, some UNC students are gathering on campus in support of a professor on administrative leave. We have a crew on the ground and Sky 5 in the air giving you these two vantage points of this demonstration. The university announced it is investigating whether Professor Dwayne Dixon was advocating for political violence. Several websites have tied Dixon to a far-left group. Dixon is a professor of Asian and Middle Eastern studies, and a petition with hundreds of signatures is circulating online for Dixon to keep his job. There are speakers there going on now at the protest. You can see those students gathered right now. We'll bring you updates on this story on air and online.
And the man accused of murdering a woman in Wake Forest will appear before a judge this afternoon. 44-year-old Harrison Jose Urena Morales is facing a murder charge. He's accused of shooting Josefina Tavares in a neighborhood on Mill Dam Road. Police believe this is the result of a domestic dispute. We'll bring you updates during our evening news starting at 4.
The state's largest health